About time for another Coach Life, baby. Well, it's been a while. I have to say, I went to Boston, I went to New York, came back. I did a Coach Life, but I couldn't maintain the momentum because there was so much change. And so I didn't feel comfortable bringing that type of energy to the public, if you will, the 14 people that watch these. Now is relative, so it'll probably be a lot more people by the time that this becomes relevant, which is interesting. But anyways, I feel a need to speak the truth just so that it's understood, standing in my personal authenticity. This is how I see it. Coach Life. Right now, we have a world that is in flux. People can manifest at a way higher clip than we're used to. And so we're having to tap into an ancestral knowledge, which is both God-given and something that we've had to work towards, even if that working is unlearning, even if that learning is unworking. So sometimes the hardest task for us at moments is to stand still. Sometimes our silence speaks volumes. So I had to engage in a little bit of that. That's not the sole reason for my absence, but that's a lot of it. Is I didn't want to reflect that energy into the public. I wanted to process it properly and make sure that I was giving you the purest version of truth possible. So that's where we are. We are in a world that is in super flux. There was a moment where it seemed like we could turn this thing around and head into the right direction. And energetically, there's a lot of people that have. There's a lot of people that are doing the right things right now and creating a beautiful way of life. But a lot of us are also stuck in these very old machines, very old. They're systems, but they work much like machines. They need to be fed certain things. They need to be directed. They need to be maintained. So I'll give you a living example. I work at a school. It's a very bureaucratic institution, but it's also created based off of a charter. It needs to have this person to run that person to run this. And those things are largely steeped in education ideology that comes from like the late 1800s, 1900s, industrialists really pushed this through, and it's maintained. So if you imagine that those of us who are present right now, fully feeling our experience, we're competing with a machine that's from 100+ years ago, but a machine that has that much experience, has that much budget, that much momentum. So it is quite a battle. And it looked like we were going to be able to fix what is and pivot and use a lot of that. And we probably still will be able to salvage a lot of it, but it's got to go. Fatal errors. It's got to go. The only way at this point is to construct something new. And so we knew that for some time, but now we're at the point where we have to actually execute on that idea. And that's scary to a lot of folks. It's exciting to some of us. And it's just a lot to deal with. We are at a point where manifestation is at an all-time high. You can have an idea, it can become something, that thing can generate momentum, it can change the world, for real. But you also are competing with a lot of manifestations. So that's kind of the times we're in. It is also March the 22nd. So it's the 1 month anniversary of February the 22nd, which was Tuesday. 22222222222. We had our 222 party. It was so fun. And so I have to remember to do something at 222 to commemorate. And it's the 2-year anniversary of the pandemic. March 13th is when it started for me. So it's a lot going on, is all I mean to really tell you. And in order for us to be effective right now, we have to stand in our truths. And standing in our truths means sometimes not saying nothing, because the momentum at play right now, the dominant narrative, at least in America, at least in Martha's Vineyard, it's white supremacy. And unfortunately, I have to keep saying this phrase because it helps people understand where we are. It came to me when I was in New York deaning, but anyways, a well-designed institution with 100+ years under its belt, all that momentum, you could take a person with the best intentions, with a good heart, and you put them in that institution in a desired position, like they could really want this job, they could really want to make a change, best intentions, best heart. You can put them in that institute, that system, and they'll still commit heinous acts because the design is too much to compete with. How do you fight off 1,000 people? Because there's more than that in that directive that you're getting. So everyone's not up for that task. Most people can't sustain. I mean, it's and if you're gonna fight a battle, you don't fight like that. If you're gonna try to align and be your true self, you can't do it within those conditions. So that also plays into where we are today. I would say we have some exciting things that are already here. They need to really, the environment is here, the conditions are here, the energy is here, but people need to speak their truths more, and people need to really shut up. Like, stop. Like, social media, when you're in public and you're around people with the glow, just actually shut up. Instead of saying what you want to say, unless you did the work and you processed it and all of that, like, please, like, we here for it. But if you're not at that level where it's clear to you that you need to communicate your truth because it's valuable to someone else, not just you, unless you're at that level, you have to stop. Like, you have to be quiet. Like, just imagine someone who has all that knowledge and they know who they are. You know, people call us old souls. If you only knew how old we were. And if we can sit there and be quiet, you can be quiet. So this is the time to really absorb the gems, because they're going to come and it's going to be exponential. It's going to be beautiful watching this new thing be birthed, but you got to be quiet. You got to clear the airwaves so that the real messages could get through. Okay? So all of that, and then all of the energy that is kind of on the other side, you got to remember, everyone is kind of you. So there's no real bad people and good people. There's just what you choose to honor and what that will resonate with, and then the momentum of that. So if you running around doing a bunch of negative stuff for the past 2 years, you got to anticipate you're going to have some negativity around you. It's just what's going to happen. like I said, manifestation is at an all-time high. So you reaping what you sow, but you could turn it around. But what I'm saying is, most of us, we are tapped into our true nature, and we need y'all to clear the airwaves so we can actually communicate what we need to communicate. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to get out there. I know this is kind of a lot, but because I haven't communicated through the Coachlife, I was going through my phone and I had Coachlife videos from this time last year that I didn't post because I was sitting on it. So I was like, all right, it's definitely not the time to sit on it. And I'll be communicating more. Actually, I'm thinking about doing 2 a day. So let me know if I should. I'm not sure, but the messages are coming forth clear. And oh yeah, for all of you educators out there, I know it's hard. I know the whole mask thing is throwing people off. The change is dynamic now. The change is dynamic. So this is what's happening, right? When they first introduced all of these measures to keep everybody safe, there was this drive that was about equity as well. But now they're not in an equity space. They're back to, yo, let's get back to the party. And the party wasn't our party. So you can't really be mad at them, but you have to understand they're not you. So all my educators, all my folks of color in education, you got to really understand that the crazy energy that you're surrounded by right now, everybody who wants to run around like sneezing in each other's mouths again, we was never with that. Like I just told somebody, a bunch of people yesterday, if I could wear a mask before the pandemic and not look crazy, I would have. Just not because I'm, muting my higher self or anything like that. It's just y'all don't have home training. Like y'all don't know how to sneeze in your sleeve, all that. So, but the energy to rush back to the party, that's not us. You got to let that go. That's a different thing on a spiritual level. We can get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. Just don't let it convert this public health crisis into a mental health crisis. Well, I guess it's the same thing, but you see what I'm saying? Because that's the intention of it. All right. So anyways, this is Coachlife, and this is a bit much, but I'm going to post it. I'm going to see where it goes. Let me know. If there's anything you want me to hit on also, just let me know, because I'm probably going to start dropping more Coachlifes. All right. Signing off. Much love. One love. Coachlife.